morning. In fact, it's a glorious morning. There is a mid-March blizzard here, and while a lot of people are probably hoping for spring at this point, I am loving this. I just think there is nothing so beautiful on this planet as a forest in the snowfall. So I am here on a back part of the 20 acres of woods I'm lucky to have out here on my snowshoes. And I want to talk to you about the tree that's behind me, this big, glorious white pine. This is an eastern white pine, Pinus strobus, the largest tree species in eastern North America. It doesn't get as big as the big trees out in western North America, redwoods, sequoias, etc., but they get pretty big, especially when they're really allowed to grow to full size. It's just that we don't have a lot of old growth trees in general, and white pine in particular on the East Coast left after centuries of European colonization, and that's post-colonial logging continued, and so on and so forth. There are little pockets. If you can find an old growth white pine grove, I recommend it. But this is a pretty nice sized one we've got here, and pretty easy to identify white pine. Don't know how well you can see this, but pines all have needles, their leaves, right, in the form of needles that come in fascicles or bundles. So you can see this bundle I'm holding up. It has 5 needles in it. A couple of them have their tips broken by the snow, the ice, but you can see 5 needles there. And that is one of the characteristics of the white pine. In this part of the world, of course, wherever you are, there are going to be other pines probably. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the white pine. First of all, it's the dominant tree species here in the ecosystem I live in. That's the upper Delaware, southern Catskills. Bald eagles love to nest in the white pines. It gets them way up high. It's protected. And they also line their nests with pine needles. And that does a couple of things. It softens the nest for themselves and their fledglings, but it also creates an antiseptic environment, because pine needles are full of monoterpenes, which are antiseptic. And that is one of the ways we can use pine ourselves as herbalists, both the bark as well as the needles, for their antimicrobial, antibacterial, antiviral properties. So to fend off illness, the needles are also very high in vitamin C. So we get a bit of an immune boost from that as well if we crush up the needles and steep them, infuse them for a long time, or very gently decoct them, because vitamin C will break down if you cook it anything more than as gently as possible. Not the way we want to get our vitamin C on a daily basis year-round, because also high in tannins, but a wonderful way to get a temporary boost when we're fending something off. And then we get a boost from these monoterpenes just being out here in the forest bathing. We're getting natural aromatherapy. These monoterpenes, these small phytoconstituents, are pungent aromatics, what we might call essential oils, that the plants are producing to, in part, waft up into the atmosphere, seed rain clouds, signal and communicate to other plants in the area. And when we breathe those in and take them in as medicine, they help open up the lungs, dilate the bronchi. We get full, deep breaths, and they're very grounding. In the case of conifers and pine in particular, I find this to be incredibly clearing, cleansing, and grounding. I think of it as a carminative for the mind, so that pungent aromatic quality that just clears the bloated stagnation, both out of our lungs if we're kind of phlegmy and are fighting something off, but really metaphorically out of the mind as well. So this wonderful combination of cleansing and grounding and calming. And you can see how one follows the other. Let's just take another look at this sublime tree.